The first one was Swing Shift. So we did that and we met there, we fell in love, and then we got together and we had a baby.
You know, we all think we know everything about our favorite Hollywood stars. We see them on the big screen, we watch their interviews, and we feel like we understand their lives. But every once in a while, a celebrity says something so honest and real that it stops us in our tracks. Recently, Goldie Hawn, the beloved actress who has been making us laugh and cry for decades, opened up about her relationship in a way that nobody expected. At 79 years old, she made a confession that had everyone talking. She said something about Kurt Russell, her partner of over 4 decades, that revealed the deep truth about their incredible love story. What she admitted was simple but powerful, and it reminds us all what real love actually looks like. Before we dive into what Goldie said and why it matters so much, we need to understand her journey. Goldie Hawn didn't just wake up one day as a happy woman in a perfect relationship. Her path to finding true love was filled with heartbreak, lessons, and some really tough moments that shaped who she became. Goldie was born in Washington, D.C. in 1945. She grew up in a loving family, and from a young age, she knew she wanted to perform. She started dancing when she was just 3 years old, and she fell in love with being on stage. Her parents supported her dreams, and she worked incredibly hard to make them come true. By the time she was a young woman, Goldie was teaching dance and trying to break into show business. It wasn't easy, but she never gave up. Her big break came in the late 1960s when she joined a television show called Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. This comedy show was hugely popular, and Goldie became famous practically overnight. People loved her bubbly personality, her infectious laugh, and the way she could make everyone smile. She wasn't just pretty. She was genuinely funny and talented. In 1969, she won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in a movie called Cactus Flower. She was only 24 years old, and suddenly she was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But even though her career was taking off like a rocket, her personal life was much more complicated. Goldie got married for the first time in 1969 to a man named Gus Triconis. He was a dancer and actor, and they seemed like a good match at first. But the marriage didn't last very long. They divorced in 1976. Goldie has said that they were both young and still figuring out who they were. Sometimes love isn't enough when two people are growing in different directions. After her first marriage ended, Goldie didn't stay single for long. In 1976, the same year her divorce was finalized, she married Bill Hudson. Bill was a musician and comedian, and they seemed to have a real connection. They had 2 children together, a son named Oliver and a daughter named Kate. Both of these kids would grow up to become actors themselves, which shows that talent definitely runs in the family. For a while, things seemed good between Goldie and Bill. They were building a family, and Goldie's career was still going strong. She was starring in hit movies and becoming even more famous. But behind the scenes, the marriage was falling apart. Goldie and Bill had very different ideas about life, family, and what they wanted for their future. They tried to make it work for the sake of their children, but sometimes trying isn't enough. In 1982, after 6 years of marriage, Goldie and Bill separated. They officially divorced in 1983. This divorce was particularly painful because there were children involved. The breakup became messy, and over the years, the relationship between Bill and his children became strained and complicated. Goldie was now a single mother with 2 young kids, trying to balance one of the biggest careers in Hollywood with being there for her family. She has talked about how difficult this time was for her. She felt like she had failed at marriage twice, and she wondered if she would ever find someone who truly understood her. She questioned whether real, lasting love was even possible for someone like her. After all, Hollywood wasn't exactly known for successful long-term relationships. But then something unexpected happened. In 1983, Goldie was cast in a movie called Swing Shift. The film was about women working in factories during World War II while the men were away fighting. It wasn't the biggest hit, but it changed Goldie's life forever because her co-star was an actor named Kurt Russell. Now, this wasn't actually the first time Goldie and Kurt had worked together. They had both been in a Disney movie called The One and Only Genuine Original Family Band way back in 1968. Goldie was 21 at the time, and Kurt was only 16. They barely knew each other back then, and neither of them could have imagined what would happen when they met again 15 years later. When Goldie and Kurt reunited on the set of Swing Shift, everything was different. They were both older, wiser, and had been through their own struggles. Kurt had also been married before and had a son named Boston. He understood what it was like to have a relationship end and to worry about doing right by your children. When Goldie and Kurt started talking between scenes, they discovered they had so much in common. They made each other laugh. They respected each other's work. They understood the pressures of being in the spotlight. And there was something else, too, something neither of them expected. There was a deep connection that went beyond friendship or attraction. Goldie has told the story of their first date many times over the years, and it never gets old. She and Kurt decided to go out together, and they ended up at a place called the Playboy Club. They were having a great time, talking and laughing, and then they decided to go somewhere more private. They went to a house that Goldie was renovating at the time. It was empty and quiet, and they sat there talking for hours. Goldie has said that during that conversation, she looked at Kurt and had a moment of absolute clarity. She realized that this man was different from anyone she had ever known. She has described it as a moment when she knew her life was about to change in the most wonderful way. From that night on, Goldie and Kurt became inseparable. But here's what makes their story so special. They decided not to get married. After 2 failed marriages, Goldie was hesitant to walk down the aisle again. She has been very honest about this over the years. She has said that marriage brought expectations and pressures that she didn't want to deal with again. She wanted a relationship built on choice, not obligation. Every single day, she and Kurt would choose to be together because they wanted to, not because a piece of paper said they had to. Kurt supported this decision completely. He has said in interviews that he doesn't need a marriage certificate to prove his commitment to Goldie. Their love is real whether they are married or not. And you know what? They've been together for more than 40 years now, which is longer than most marriages in Hollywood or anywhere else. They've built a beautiful blended family together. Goldie's children Oliver and Kate think of Kurt as their real father. Kurt's son Boston became part of the family too. And together, Goldie and Kurt had one more child, a son named Wyatt who was born in 1986. So what did Goldie actually say that has everyone talking? Recently, in a candid interview, Goldie opened up about her relationship with Kurt in a way she never had before. She talked about intimacy, connection, and what it really means to be satisfied in a relationship. When she said that Kurt was the only one who truly satisfied her, she wasn't just talking about physical attraction, although that's certainly part of it. She was talking about something much deeper. Goldie explained that with Kurt, she feels completely seen and understood. She doesn't have to pretend to be anyone other than who she is. After years of feeling like she had to fit into certain roles or meet certain expectations in her previous relationships, being with Kurt gave her the freedom to just be Goldie. She said that Kurt satisfies her emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. He makes her laugh every single day. He supports her dreams and her work. He's there for her when things are tough. And after more than 4 decades together, they still genuinely enjoy each other's company. This kind of honest talk from a woman of Goldie's age and experience is actually pretty rare. We live in a world where people, especially women, are often told that romance and passion fade as you get older. We're told that you should just be grateful to have a companion in your later years and not expect too much. But Goldie is pushing back against that idea. She's saying that at 79 years old, she's in the most satisfying relationship of her life. She's saying that it's possible to have everything, the friendship, the passion, the partnership, the fun, and to maintain all of that for decades if you find the right person and you both do the work. And make no mistake, Goldie has also been very clear that their relationship isn't perfect and effortless. She and Kurt have had their challenges just like any couple. They've had disagreements and difficult times. But what sets them apart is how they handle those challenges. They communicate honestly with each other. They give each other space when needed. They respect each other's independence. Kurt has his own interests and Goldie has hers, but they always come back together. They've learned that being in a relationship doesn't mean losing yourself. In fact, the best relationships allow both people to become even more fully themselves. Goldie has talked about how important it is to keep things fresh and interesting. She and Kurt still go on dates. They still surprise each other. They still flirt and have fun together. She said that one of the keys to their lasting love is that they never take each other for granted. It would be easy after 40 years to fall into a routine and stop putting in effort, but they've made a conscious choice not to do that. They treat their relationship like something precious that needs to be nurtured and cared for. Another thing that makes their relationship special is how they support each other's careers. Both Goldie and Kurt are successful actors in their own right. They've each had incredible careers spanning decades. But instead of competing with each other or feeling jealous of each other's success, they celebrate it. They are each other's biggest fans. Kurt has said that watching Goldie work is one of his favorite things because she's so talented and professional. Goldie has said similar things about Kurt. They've even worked together on several movies over the years, which can be really difficult for couples but has brought them even closer together. Their blended family is another testament to the strength of their relationship. Blending families is never easy. There are always complications and hurt feelings and difficult adjustments. But Goldie and Kurt have managed to create a family where everyone feels loved and included. Kate Hudson, Goldie's daughter, has spoken many times about how much she loves and respects Kurt. She said that is the only father she's ever known, and that he raised her with so much love and care. Oliver Hudson has said similar things. The fact that these kids, who are now adults with families of their own, have such a close relationship with Kurt speaks volumes about the kind of man he is and the kind of home that he and Goldie created together. When Goldie made her recent confession about Kurt being the only one who satisfied her, she wasn't trying to be shocking or get attention. She was simply being honest about her experience. And her honesty resonated with millions of people. So many people, especially women, have been in relationships where they felt like something was missing. Maybe they were with someone who was nice enough but didn't really get them. Maybe they were with someone who looked good on paper but didn't make their heart sing. Maybe they settled because they thought that's what you're supposed to do. Hearing Goldie, a woman who has lived a full and fascinating life, talk about finally finding that deep satisfaction and connection gives hope to everyone who's still searching for it. It also challenges some of the stories we tell ourselves about aging and relationships. We live in a culture that's obsessed with youth, especially when it comes to women. There's this assumption that as women get older, they become less desirable, less passionate, less interested in romance and intimacy. But Goldie is proof that this is complete nonsense. She's 79 years old, and she's talking openly about how satisfied and fulfilled she is in her relationship. She's showing us that life and love don't end at 30 or 40 or 50 or any other age. If anything, the love she and Kurt share now is probably richer and deeper than it was when they first got together because it's built on decades of shared experiences, trust, and genuine friendship. Goldie's journey to this point wasn't easy. She had to go through 2 divorces, raise children on her own, deal with the pressures of fame, and figure out who she really was and what she really wanted. But all of those experiences prepared her for the relationship she is now. She learned from her mistakes. She became clear about her boundaries and her needs. She stopped trying to force things that weren't working. And when the right person came along, she was ready to embrace that love fully. There's a lesson in this for all of us, no matter what age we are or what our relationship status might be. The lesson is that it's never too late to find real love and real satisfaction. It's never too late to be honest about what you want and need. It's never too late to start over if something isn't working. And once you find that special connection, it's worth fighting for and nurturing every single day. Goldie and Kurt's relationship also shows us that love doesn't have to look like what we've been told it should look like. They are not married, and that works perfectly for them. They've been together for over 40 years without a wedding ceremony, and their commitment to each other is just as strong as any married couple, maybe even stronger because it's based purely on choice. This challenges a traditional narrative that marriage is the ultimate goal and the only way to have a serious, committed relationship. Goldie and Kurt are living proof that you can create your own rules and your own definition of partnership. As Goldie enters her 80s, she shows no signs of slowing down. She's still acting, still involved in charitable work through a foundation that helps children, and still very much in love with Kurt. She's living life on her own terms, and that's incredibly inspiring. In a world that often tries to make older people, especially older women, feel invisible or irrelevant, Goldie is standing up and saying that she's never been happier or more satisfied. She's showing us that the best chapters of life might still be ahead of us, no matter how old we are. So when Goldie admitted that Kurt was the only one who truly satisfied her, she was giving us all a gift. She was giving us permission to want more, to expect more, to believe that deep connection and satisfaction are possible. She was reminding us that settling is never necessary. She was showing us that real love, the kind that satisfies your soul, is worth waiting for and worth choosing every single day. Her story with Kurt is one of Hollywood's greatest love stories, not because it's perfect or fairy tale-like, but because it's real. It's a story of two people who found each other at the right time, who chose to build a life together on their own terms, and who have maintained that love and that satisfaction for more than 40 years. It's a story that gives us hope and reminds us what's possible when you find your person. If you've enjoyed hearing about Goldie and Kurt's incredible love story, please hit that like button. It really helps us continue to bring you these meaningful stories about the people we love. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today, someone who's still searching for that deep connection, or someone who needs a reminder that love at any age is beautiful. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss another story. We're here bringing you the real, honest, and inspiring stories behind your favorite celebrities. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, it's never too late to find the love that truly satisfies you.